His name is Michael Burns. He was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, and educated in the Catholic school system, graduating from Weber High School. He began his career in corporate America with household finance and HSBC, and ended as a senior representative with Capital One before he decided to go into the holistic healthcare business. Mr. Burns is an expert holistic and naturopath coach. He studied at the Opulent Health and Wellness Center and has been mentored by Dr. Eric Prince and herbalist Sharon Dorsey. Mr. Burns has been practicing holistic medicine for over 3 years. He is 45 years young. Doesn't he look about 23, guys? He is 45 years young and married to Mrs. Burns, a radiology technician, and together they are the proud parents of 3 beautiful children. So in keeping honor to your time, I'm going to let him go ahead and get started. I'm going to close my microphone and let him go ahead and get started. To you, I present Mr. Michael Burns. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome. A lot of gratitude towards your kind words. I really humbly appreciate it. Glad to meet you all. Gonna jump right into it. I'm here today to go over what a bioscan is gonna look like. At the end, if you have any questions, of course, I'll stick around to answer any questions that I can. I pride myself on being thorough with this because I understand that, and coming across in a manner that everyone can understand. If I tell a person what's going on in their body and they're able to understand it and tell them how we're going to reverse what they have going on in their body, the healing actually begins at the time the bioscan is performed. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen here. This one. Okay. All right. Anita, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I see it. The
Awesome.
cardiovascular and cerebrovascular analysis report card.
Exactly. Thank you. Cardiovascular and cerebrovascular, the 2 most important arteries, organs in the body. Cardio meaning your heart, cerebral meaning your brain. So this is, this is a client that I had. I, took out his name, out of, respect for him. This first graph that you see here, we don't really reference this graph. The one that we're going to use and that all you future coaches are going to use is this one right here. So we're going to start with the items tested. These items right here where you see my cursor. When I'm describing what's going on, to a person after the bioscan has been performed, these are the things that I'm going over. These are the tested items. These items here represent normal range, right in the middle. These items here is the range that this particular person tested live time. The colors, you want to make sure you explain the colors. Green is a representation of normal. Green means balance. It's a representation of a person being in their prime. Most people probably hit their prime maybe from age 13, 18. And we were taught that you only hit your prime once in your lifetime. That's absolutely not true at all. The problem is we get out of balance and we leave our prime, be it emotional, traumatic, traumas, and diet. These things get us out of balance. Our goal is to get all of our clients back in balance. So green is a representation of normal. Blue is mildly abnormal. Yellow is moderately abnormal. And red, severely abnormal. Anything to the left of the green is an indicator of decrease. So for instance, if a person had low blood pressure, it would be to the left. Anything to the right of the green is an indicator of increase. So if a person had high blood pressure, it would be to the right. For studying purposes, normally when you're doing a bioscan, for sake of time, and you can use your own discretion with this, I don't normally go over the greens. I just go over the things that are out of balance. But for studying purposes, I will be touching bases on all of these different, all of the items tested. So first, we're going to start off with blood viscosity. That's the first one up here. And you can see this person here, it's in a blue. Blood viscosity is the thickness of the blood. The consistency of the blood is thicker than it should be. I'm going to tie it all together. Cholesterol crystal is also elevated. It's in the blue. It's mildly abnormal. The cholesterol is higher. Blood fat is also at an increase. These three have everything to do with the blood. If there's fat in the blood, most likely the viscosity of the blood is going to be thicker and the cholesterol is raised. I want to talk a little bit about why the cholesterol is raised. I'm also a vegan. I've been a vegan for a little bit over 3 years now. I wasn't always that way. I ate everything at one point. My grandparents owned a barbecue restaurant, which I worked at in high school, so there was pretty nothing I did not eat. What this has to do with the blood, the human body is 98 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? When you consume certain animals, certain warm blood, well, really all warm-blooded animals, I don't care if it's a pig, if it's a cow, if it's a turkey, a chicken, all of these things that we normally eat, these animals have a much higher body temperature than we do. They already have cholesterol. So when a person consumes those animal proteins, we're taking on the cholesterol of that animal. Now, to make it make sense, your body doesn't possess the body temperature to burn off those cholesterols. This is how a person develops high cholesterol. It's because your body cannot.
Yeah. Where you been? Where you been? What are you doing? And
let me see. So that's how a person's body becomes, that's how a person develops high cholesterol. When the blood fat is elevated and the thickness of the blood is also elevated, it's because, again, your body cannot burn off the fats from those animals. Those animals are well over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. You're only 98. This is why when a person is a pescatarian, meaning that they only consume fish, their bodies is able to burn off those fats because a fish has a much lower body temperature than warm-blooded animals. A fish or anything from the water is like what, maybe 25 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 degrees. So your body can process that and burn through that much easier than consuming animal proteins. Just wanted to explain how the real reason why a person has high cholesterol. Next, we're going to go into vascular resistance right here where my cursor is. So it's at an increase. Vascular resistance is a pretty special one simply because vascular resistance is an indicator of high blood pressure or how a person processes stress as well. Nowadays, everyone is, talking about traumas and past experiences and working through things of that nature, because we're realizing and waking up to the fact that emotional issues manifest physical reactions in the body. This is not paid attention to enough. You can have a breakup that happened 10 years ago. And if you start talking about it with someone, your body will react in that moment. Your heart rate will go up. You'll get angry again. You might start sweating. Your body is still attached to that emotional thing. So it's easy to see that just an emotional thought can trigger a physical body response, but negatively. So if you have a client and they have high vascular resistance, you definitely want to just tell them to be cognizant of how they may be managing whatever it is they have going on. It can be anything: financial, marital, job. I mean, the list goes on and on. Everyone has things going on, but it's how we deal with those things in that moment. Oftentimes, I know that we're taught to repress these things. The thing is, the body does not forget. Think about my example of the breakup that happened 10 years ago, but your body still remembers it. You gotta make peace with that thing, or at least try to. This is why forgiveness, grace, and mercy is a superpower. It's not just for them, it's for you. Vascular elasticity is at a decrease. This one right here, vascular elasticity. Vascular elasticity talks about the arteries around the heart, your vascular arteries. It's the hardening of the arteries. That means that there's plaque buildup within the vascular arteries around the heart. Now, let me make it make sense. I want to go back up here again. If there's fat in the blood and there's high cholesterol in the blood, where are those fat particles going to rest, guys? In your vascular arteries, heart attack. In your arteries to your brain, stroke. If the blood is polluted, it will pollute the arteries. So what starts to happen over time is the arteries become hard, and the space in which the blood needs to pump through becomes smaller. And in this person's case, the blood is thick. So you have this small space with thick blood trying to squeeze through. We gotta prevent this, guys. And this is what the detox does. We understand what the #1 killer on planet Earth is. This is not my opinion. Any of you can Google right now what that is. It's heart disease. That means we're doing something wrong as a collective. As the human race, something is incorrect. This is not being talked about enough. But everybody on this call, you got the key. We go aggressively at reversing things like this. So again, vascular elasticity is the hardening of the arteries. The arteries around the heart. Vascular arteries are the arteries around the heart. Myocardial blood demand is at an increase right here. Let me see. Myocardial blood demand. Myocardial blood demand means that every 60 seconds, your heart has a demand to meet. Why? Because you have 50 trillion cells that need oxygen, they need nutrients. So this right here, this person, that means that their heart is working a little bit harder to meet that 60-second demand. So now we getting into the strength of the heart. Every 60 seconds, your heart has a demand to meet. So this person heart is working a little bit harder to meet that demand. Myocardial blood perfusion volume. So the key word here is volume, meaning the amount of blood in the heart. Myocardial perfusion volume is it's an exchange of gases that has to happen to saturate the tissues of the heart. Oxygen and carbon dioxide have to exchange to saturate the tissues of the heart. This is saying that the amount of blood in the chambers of the heart at the time that exchange happens, well, this person is balanced, but normally if it's out of line, it might be a little bit lower. It might be a little bit lower, but in this case, this person is imbalanced in that case. Myocardial oxygen consumption. Referring back to the myocardial blood demand, if the heart is going to be demanding more blood, it's definitely going to be demanding more oxygen because oxygen is carried through the blood. So a lot of this, the ones in the middle here, we're talking about the strength of the heart. So you also want to let your clients know that having an active lifestyle is not an option. Sharing a little bit about myself, you guys know about Dr. E. Prince, like he is a world-class sprinter. On my journey to veganism, when I became a vegan, I was like, oh, that's all I got to do. I'm good. I was wrong. You want to encourage your clients to have some type of workout regimen. It does not have to be super intense and all, like running 5 miles every time or working out 7 days a week. Take it easy with yourself, but at least 3 times a week, 20 minutes a day will strengthen your heart greatly. And if you want to have optimum health and wellness, you have to have a workout regimen. It's not an option. You have to move around. It could be something as simple as opening up a YouTube video and just working out in your kitchen. When I didn't have a place to work out, I would do that. But these are the things that people need to reverse these different ailments that they have. You have to have a workout plan. Let's see here. Stroke volume. This person here, their stroke volume is at a decrease. Immediately, and you're gonna learn with like most of your customers, when they see the word stroke, they kind of freak out. But stroke does not mean stroke that we're accustomed to thinking about. Stroke just meaning contraction of the heart. Each time the heart contracts, it's considered a stroke. This is just saying that this particular person, the volume of blood, the amount of blood in the heart, each time that heart contracts is at a decrease. You're going to move along to the next one. Left ventricular ejection impedance. Left ventricular ejection impedance. The key word here is impedance. So this person is back, it's in the middle, but normally it's at an increase. It's in the blue or the yellow. Impedance means an obstruction, a blockage. So we go back again to the polluted blood. There's plaque buildup in the arteries. So as the blood is trying to pump through that ventricular artery, there's a blockage there. There's an impedance. So again, you want to put them on the cleanse, because what does the cleanse do? It dissolves the plaque in the arteries. Left ventricular effective pump power is at a decrease. So again, we're talking about the strength of the heart. You increase the cardiovascular workout and you will increase your cardiovascular output. It's just that simple. There's two types of stress: good stress, bad stress. Bad stress is that stress that I talked about earlier, referring to the breakup or whatever, emotion you're going through at the time. That's bad stress, and your body will react to it. Or fear, when a large amounts of cortisol is released into the body. This is bad stress. Good stress is you going for a walk, you doing some Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, running, biking, doing a hula hoop class. That's good stress on the heart. And, it also activates youthing genes as well. This is how you stay younger. This is what Dr. Prince means when he says this truly reverses your age. Right now, I'm 45. Anita was so, kind with her words. If I showed you guys pictures of me when I was 39, I look much, I was older. I'm biologically younger at 45 than I was at 39. And when I first pursued this journey, that was not like a goal of mine. It just kind of happens. And the detox program that is the step to get you and your customers or your clients in that direction. Let's see here. Coronary artery elasticity. So we talked about the vascular arteries. The vascular arteries are the arteries around the heart. The coronaries are the arteries on your heart. They're the red arteries on your heart. So I know some of you guys might have an anatomy book. You can point that out. Now, even though we're talking about the arteries, the coronary arteries on the heart, the subject matter is the same. The elasticity is at a decrease, meaning plaque buildup. Plaque buildup within the arteries on the heart. So we have, let me see, to show you, this person, he had plaque buildup in his vascular arteries around his heart and plaque buildup in the coronary arteries on the heart. This is needed, y'all. Coronary perfusion pressure. His is normal. Normally, coronary perfusion pressure is at an increase. It's normally in the blue, in the yellow, or the red. Why is there pressure there? Let's go back. Because there's an impedance there. It's gonna be pressure buildup when your blood is trying to circulate through your coronary arteries and there's an obstruction there blocking it. What happens? Pressure builds up. That's why it's coronary perfusion pressure. So we want to dissolve that plaque. Lastly, these last two talks about they talk about the brain. Cerebral blood vessel elasticity. So now we're talking about how a stroke happens. We have those small arteries that are going to the brain. And over time, plaque buildup can happen. The example here, this person is he didn't have any plaque buildup, but normally this is in the blue or the yellow. This is serious because the arteries going to your brain are much, much smaller. So this is how this is how a stroke happens. So again, it happens because of plaque buildup within the arteries. A stroke is basically a heart attack in the brain. Brain tissue blood supply status. His is in the green. Normally, this is at a decrease. So what this would mean is that his heart is not pumping effectively enough to make the blood reach his brain. If it's in the blue or the yellow, that's what you have going on. And again, we're talking about strengthening the heart, because when we're talking about blood reaching the brain, that your blood has to pump against gravity. So in this case, what we're gonna do with this client, we go into the detox, the 21-day detox. What it does, it takes a break from the animal proteins. So we correct the blood viscosity. We bring down the cholesterol levels. We remove some of the fats from the blood. In doing so, by cleaning the blood, we send a signal to the vascular artery, to the coronary artery, to the arteries on the brain, to dissolve and release that plaque from the inside out. And we also strengthen the heart with cardiovascular workouts. And that's how we get these ticks moving back into the blue, back into the green, back from the yellow, back to the blue, back from the blue, back into the green. So that's pretty much the gist of this report. If you have any questions at the end, I will answer the questions. Now we're gonna look at the composite report. Let's see.
Hello, everyone. This is Sharon. Can y'all hear me?
Hey, Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Hey, Sharon.
Hi. How are we doing?
He's doing an amazing job.
Oh,
I knew we would.
Thank you. I'm having a problem.
Michael is holding it down.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute so I can go into my other screen. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay. And this one. Okay. Very nice. Not what I want. Okay. Is my composite report showing, guys?
It is.
Okay. All right. So is it moving up and down?
Yep.
Can I do this? Okay, awesome. So lastly, you guys are going to go into your composite report. It's going to list cardiovascular and cerebrovascular. You're going to talk about liver functionality. You're going to talk about kidney functionality, and also basic physical quality, AKA pH. And we're talking about acidic. We're basically talking about acidity and alkalinity. Want to touch on these things because these are the things that we see a lot of. Again, here on the left-hand side, you may not see colors, but anything on this page represents red and yellow. So there are no blues, there are no greens. If you see anything at the top, like right here, separated, this is red. So this particular person is in the red. These down here are a reflection of yellow, okay? So items tested, right here on the left-hand side. These are the items that we tested. The numbers here that says normal range is just what it is. These are the normal range. These are the ranges that you want to be at. And these numbers here represent the numbers in which this person has tested live time. What you're gonna have when you're scanning people, they're gonna wanna kind of maybe read ahead and start reading this verbiage. This verbiage is incorrect. It's not culturally accurate. We are in the process of rewriting this verbiage to make it more culturally accurate. This verbiage is for, more of a Asian country, but we are in the process of rewriting it, but the information is accurate nonetheless. So I'm gonna start off with the one in the red. What you're gonna mostly see, I use this person because this is what I see on a normal, on a normal basis. Kidney function. This person's uric acid index is high. Uric acid index is a product of urea, and that's a byproduct of meat. This happens with the breakdown of, or the lack of breakdown in the stomach. When a person consumes any type of animal protein, the breakdown process happens in the stomach. How does that happen? With enzymes. If the uric acid index is high, that means that this person does not possess the amount of enzymes to make that breakdown happen properly. Not correcting this issue can cause issues like gout. And this is why you're seeing gout, become such a major thing now. And gout does not feel good from what I'm told. So we want to get the uric acid levels down. We talked about cardiovascular and the cerebrovascular on the page before this, so it's not really necessary to go over this particular part because it's the same information that was on the first page. Liver function. This person also has a fatty liver. You'll look here, the normal range is 0.097 to 0.419. This person, few more ticks and he would have been in the red. So this person has a fatty liver. Now, let's tie it in together with the first page. The job of the liver is to do what? Is to clean the blood. This person, if they have a fatty liver, then their liver is not able to do that. And we were able to see a reflection of this on the page prior. High blood viscosity. His blood was thicker. High cholesterol, high blood fat. Why? Because his liver is compromised. We gotta flush that liver. You flush out that liver, the liver then sends a signal to those arteries all over the body, on the heart, on the brain, to dissolve and release that plaque. You don't have to have heart surgery. You can dissolve it from the inside out. And that's what we want to do. So we want to flush out that liver. And I explained to you guys how that liver became fat. It's diet. It's all diet related. Next, I want to touch on, you're going to see this a lot too. I use this example because these are the things that you're going to see. Not all of the time, of course not, because everybody's body is different. But I wanted to show this because this particular person did have a lot of things going on. Next, we're going to talk about the kidney functionality, right? Proteinuria index. Looking at the numbers here, 1.571, 4.079. Here's his 5.67. Proteinuria. If you say that slow, it sounds just like what it is. Protein in the urine. These are the things that are really sending people to dialysis. It's not because you maybe don't drink enough water or you drunk too much pop. No, what's happening here is this person does not possess the enzymes, the acids in his stomach to break down proteins. So what happens is his kidneys are now tasked with trying to filter out that protein. So what happens? Proteinuria. One way that this can be identified is if a person uses the washroom, it has a sooty-like look. So again, we have to flush out the kidneys as well. And lastly, pH, basic physical quality. That word that everyone talks about or you heard about, alkalinity. It's been proven time and time again. Sickness and disease thrives in an acidic environment. It is impossible for sickness and disease to exist in the alkaline environment. It is impossible. So we see here that this person's alkalinity is low. You're gonna see that a lot. So what we wanna do is raise the alkalinity. The 21-day detox is a purely alkaline detox. So we're gonna raise the alkalinity. We're going to flush out the kidneys, removing helping to remove some of the proteins from the kidneys. We're gonna also bring the uric acid levels down. We're gonna flush out the liver. By flushing out the liver, we correct the issues in the heart with the vascular arteries and the coronary arteries, any artery that a person has. It doesn't matter where it is. We want to dissolve that plaque buildup within the walls of those arteries. And by flushing out the liver, correcting and cleaning that filter, it allows the blood to do just that. And I think I covered everything. Sharon,
Yes.
please.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michael. You did an excellent job. I appreciate you. This is such great information. Without this information, we would still be stuck with our unfortunate medical system. I don't even want to call them medical care because they don't care. Let's see.
Did you want me to go back? I can bring up another page if you want me to.
No, I'm gonna open it up right now for people to ask questions.
Awesome.
Mhm. Yes, Tony.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is sick care.
So I'm gonna have, if you could stop screen sharing, Michael, and we'll go straight to the Zoom.
Yes, ma'am.
I had a question.
Yes.
So I was on a Zoom call last time, and I watched like for the first 2.5 hours,
Mhm.
and I didn't get a bioscan when I was in person. I would like to get one, and I would like to hear about the juices or what will be like needed for my protocol specifically.
Okay. So yeah, you can connect with Fred and Anita, and they'll tell you how to go about doing all of that. Where do you live again?
Where Baltimore.
Hey, Sharon,
Yes.
this is Keith and Tony. We actually did connect Daquan with Erica Zachary in Baltimore, so he's going to be able to get that. But I think he's mostly interested in the 21-day detox. And Daquan, if you want to reach out, you can text me later tonight. I'll send you a link where you can get that detox, and we can put you through with the coaches that can help you through the system and the program.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Keith and Tanya. Okay, so I see Steph has her hand up. Steph, you there?
Hi, I'm sorry, I'm having a tech issue. I was trying to get that off. So I met Keith and Tanya, and I think his name is Fred, down in Atlanta at the Generational Wealth Conference. Let me see if I can turn my camera on. Anyway, so I'm happy to be here tonight. I do have the results, and they are very detailed. I'm in Boston, Massachusetts, and I haven't started the detox yet. But is there a certain way until, how do I ask this? Like, is there, because it sounds like you're saying that this could be a business for somebody. I'm not really trying to do that just yet. I just want to apply it to me personally.
Yes.
What are, I guess, the recommendations after I do the 21-day? Because I got all of those products. I just haven't started it yet.
Okay, so once you complete the 21-day detox, then you want to focus your attention on blood type foods and food combining. Oftentimes, we don't really recognize the amount of foods that we're consuming every day that go against our blood type. And when you're consuming those foods that go against your blood type, it causes your immune system to activate every time. And
Okay.
out of 16 different food groups, there are many, many different foods that we're consuming, breakfast, lunch, dinner, 7 days a week, all through the month, all through the
Mhm.
year, for, however young you are.
Right.
For me, it's been 47 years. So that's a long time to consume foods that go against my blood type. And that's when a person starts to develop an overactive immune system.
Mm.
This is one of the major reasons why so many people are now dealing with autoimmune diseases. And they're every time you turn around, there's a new autoimmune disease. And it's
Right.
because the immune system is so overactive, it's attacking certain parts of the body. And for some people, it's attacking many parts of the body.
Mhm.
And it's just wreaking havoc on their quality of life. So we want to start removing some of those foods, or at least coming away from eating them at the rate in which we've been eating them. So those are things that you're going to focus on once you come off the detox.
Okay. Okay. And then I guess I'll just reach out to, like, where would I go from here as far as reaching out after the Zoom?
So who did you purchase your products from?
I got them at a large conference in Atlanta.
Okay, so
I
that would
did
be
get,
Fred and Anita.
okay, so I have their contact. I did get the blood type done, so I mean, I do want to feel better as soon as possible. So I mean, I can't keep putting it off.
Right.
So yeah, it was amazing to meet them. I don't think it was by accident. And thank you for
Oh,
doing
not
this
at
Zoom
all.
call tonight,
You
because I can't
will.
make it on Tuesday.
You will feel amazing after this
Yes, you
detox.
will.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
will.
And also know that even when you have Anita and Fred, you actually will have all four of us that you can reach out to. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, you'll have all four of us you can reach out to. And
Okay.
even after you finish your detox or during your detox, if you have any questions and you just feel a little lost or just not sure, always know you can reach out to us.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
we're your
Okay.
support system through this process.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Thank
we're
you so
proud
much.
of you.
Thank you so much.
Good. Okay, I see that Rita has her hand up.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Oh, hi, I can see me. All right, I have a question about what happens when you miss a day? Like I did today, for example, I missed everything except for breakfast. And because of poor planning, so I'm juicing, now trying to catch up. But what do I do?
Okay, so when you say you missed, did you eat something that goes against the detox program?
No, I did eat a salad. I had one 16-ounce jar of the juice, and then I had salad later on. So I'm missing the juice for lunch and the juice for dinner and the salad for dinner, and it's 9 o'clock.
Okay, well, you're still awake, so you can still get one more juice in.
Okay, no, just one more. I don't have to do two?
No, you don't have to do two. That might be a bit much on your bladder.
Okay.
I do want you to get some sleep tonight. So,
All right.
sometimes it does happen. I myself have missed the juice here and there. But it's very, and sometimes I've missed the juice and I decide to just, cut the sleep and stay up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and get my juice in. It's just based on sometimes how that work schedule is going and other things in my life. But the key thing is to make sure that you are prepared.
Yes.
Preparation is indeed the key to this process. Missing multiple juices throughout the day and multiple juices throughout the week, that kind of slows down the progress of how well the process is going to work for you. So just be mindful of that as you go through, as you continue on the process. But no need to beat yourself up about missing anything. No need to, worry or stress because you missed something. just keep going.
Okay, thank you. This is my beginning of my second week. So,
Okay.
and I do feel amazing. I'm maybe a little tired because I didn't do what I should have done, like getting my nourishment, but I'm almost never hungry. It's really amazing. So thank you
Yes.
for that info.
You're welcome. Okay.
So I just want to step in just real quick, guys.
Yes.
And I didn't give Sharon a formal introduction. Some of you already know her, but Sharon is our 21-day detox products coordinator, and she has also studied under Dr. Prince. And she is our go-to person when we can't get to Dr. Prince. For those of you who have extra questions that may be of a personal nature, you can contact me and I'll set you up a call with Sharon. There's some questions that are going to be personal, so we don't want to ask them in the open public. But for the rest of you who have your hands up, we're going to go in order. I'm going to tell you exactly the order so that we don't so that we can move this along quickly. Now, I
Okay.
did promise Deborah. Was it Deborah? I promised that she could give her testimony. I do want her to give her testimony, and then we'll have questions in this order. Martha in Boston, then Karen Underwood, then Joan Gibbs, and then Nicole Tony. So look at where you are, and and there was someone else who needed to ask a question who couldn't raise their hand. Let me just see who that was. Who was that said they couldn't raise their hand?
Yeah, I'm looking at that too. It was, if you can't raise your hand, that was Joanne Gibbs. You might want to
Well, you're
just,
there. She's up. Her hand is up. Her hand is
okay,
up. So I
okay.
just kind of want to go in order. So I'm going to let Deborah open up and give her testimony real quick. And then we're going to go back to the questions. Martha, Karen, Joan, Nicole, Melanie, and then whoever has iPhone, I don't recognize you, so put your name on, and then you'll go behind Melanie. So can we go real quick in that order? We're going to do this testimony, and then we'll do those questions. Deborah, you got to come off mute, okay?
Good evening. This is Deborah Triplett from Atlanta, Georgia. And what was said earlier was true. I just turned 55 last year. And I finally got the AARP card. And what came in the week's mail for January, February stated America's war against heart disease. So you are right on there talking about what's going on in America. This is my testimony. Last year I was put on blood pressure medicine. It was kind of like in the 150s, 160s, and I'm athletic, have lost some weight. And my bottom number was like in the 90s to 105, and what was going on? So I've been taking the medicine, they increased it, and everything was kind of in range, but it went back up this past month. So I started my cleanse 21 days on the 1st, on the 11th, so I can end at the 31st of the month. And Saturday, I was feeling kind of lightheaded, so I told Sharon how I was feeling. She said, "Are you on medication?" So they said, the medicine and what you're doing with the cleanse is counteracting each other, so stop the medication. So I stopped that last Saturday. This whole week, my blood pressure was running beforehand between 152, 145, and 159. This whole week, it has been between 116 and 129 on the top number. And the bottom number has been between 72 and 84.
Wow.
In just 5 days.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
So what I'm
Awesome.
going to do, my next appointment with my regular doctor is going to be February 28th. And I'm not taking the medication and the cholesterol per se. And I would love for them to say, "Oh, your numbers are wonderful. They're beautiful and they're fine. And the medicine is working." And I'm going to tell them to their face, I'm thanking the Lord for that confession and profession that I haven't taken your stuff in 6 weeks. Take me off. And if they ask what have I been doing, is going to be eating clean. And I also went vegan this year. And I haven't skipped a beat. The mushrooms with the coconut, is amazing. The young lady Get the jars with the lid and make up at least 2 or 3 days. There's a lid for the mason jars. When the mason jar is full, this is 16 ounces for the ladies. They have the lids already with the hole in the straw, and they have the other one with the cap. So if you make up a couple of days, go ahead and take it with you. And this has been an amazing experience. And we are Deborah 101. Between the Food and Drug Administration, you put you on medication, you get sick, something's off, and they push more medication versus eating healthy. Just think about all the Skittles, all the Doritos and things that are being eaten, especially with Super Bowl coming up. They're going to be off the chain. So I'm just saying, make good choices with your food for longevity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deborah. That was an amazing testimony.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Amen, Deborah.
Okay, Deborah, we need to get you in training to be a coach.
Ma'am, yes.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, we're gonna keep in order. Martha, Karen, Joan, Nicole, Melanie. Uh-oh, did I skip somebody? You guys know the order, so go ahead, Martha, unmute.
Hi, thank you very much. I also was at GWC and had a chance to meet the team, and I'm very grateful for it and got the scan. I did have a few questions about my scan results, but one in general was that my pH was off kilter and it was in the acidic zone. And since that moment, I've been drinking, alkaline water, and I'm wondering if that, until I get another scan to see where I'm at, is drinking alcohol water okay? Like if I just always do it? Or
So
is
drinking,
it?
Drinking alkaline water is beneficial. However, if your body is already in an acidic state and you have not detoxed and done the things to alkalize the body, just drinking alkaline water is not enough. It is akin to sprinkling a little bit of water on a huge fire. So we need to alkalize the body first. We cleanse, we detox, we eat the alkalizing foods, which of course are going to be your fruits, your veggies, and you want to eat them raw. The other thing too is when it comes to foods that are acidic, you want to be sure to avoid those as much as possible. So what are the foods that make you acidic? It's going to be the animal products. Animal protein makes you acidic. Dairy products make you acidic. And I can attest to dairy making you acidic. I'll get to that in a moment. But also white foods, white bread, white sugar, white potatoes, those things also make the body acidic. So you want to eliminate those from the diet for a time. That's why we do the 3-week detox. And then you alkalize the body, and then you maintain that alkalinity with diet and alkaline water.
Gotcha.
One of the reasons I know that dairy makes your body acidic is because I grew up drinking Goo Gobs of milk. I drank it, you would have thought I owned a cow. My dad threatened to buy me a cow. And at the age of 44, 45, when I had my first scan, I was showing signs of osteoporosis and low bone mineral density. And the reason that happened is because my body was acidic. Now, if milk is supposed to do a body good and give you strong bones, there's no reason with the amount of milk I drank that I should have had weakness in my bones. So we've been lied to so much about what things are healthy. Yes, Deborah. So staying away from those foods that make you overly acidic and getting into the foods that make you alkaline, that's going to be the best thing for you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I just have two other things. Just question in terms of coronary perfusion pressure. And I appreciate the presentation today. You did an excellent job. The presenter. What if it's on the lower end? What does that mean?
So if the coronary perfusion pressure is low, that also that indicates that there's weakness in the heart. So there's not enough blood pumping through, there's not enough strength pumping for the heart to pump and get that blood flowing through with the amount of pressure that it needs. So, and again, that is also due to diet, a lack of exercise. So we want to make sure that we're exercising to strengthen the heart and that we're taking as much burden off of the heart as possible. So we want to eliminate the stress and we want to change the diet and make sure we're exercising.
Awesome.
It's a great question too.
Please, Michael. Yeah, sorry.
No, I was just saying that's a great question.
Okay, great. And then lastly, when I had a chance to step into the booth at the conference, it was just because I saw a friend of mine in there, and I was not aware, and I said, well, since I'm there, I might as well get a scan, but I'm not aware really of the 21-day detox. And can you kind of walk me through what to expect, like how to, I guess, what to expect, because I'm trying to shift my mindset to be prepared to do it so that I can be consistent with it. And I was wondering whether or not you can talk about it right now or direct me to a website so I can get more information and be able to maybe purchase it from there as well.
Yeah, so Fred and Anita will direct you on how to make your purchase. But as far as the 21-day detox is concerned and how it works and how to go about getting through it and doing all of that, number one, you need a coach. You don't want to do this process by yourself. There are too many variables that can possibly happen. So you need to have a coach to help you get through the process. A lot of people have gone through the process and they felt like they didn't need a coach, and they ended up in the ER for things that were just simply detox symptoms. We had one gentleman who went to the ER because he thought he had COVID. He got there, they did the testing, he didn't have COVID. He had flu-like symptoms, which is the body's way of getting rid of excess mucus. So you definitely want to have a coach. You want to make sure that you are thoroughly prepared. And so once you get your products, you're also going to get a list of all the things that you need. And if you need additional support, Fred and Anita can definitely give you that support. If you need more support, Fred and Anita has a direct line to me, to Dr. Prince, and also to Michael Burns. So we can all direct you and assist you in making sure that you have everything that you need, that you know exactly what you need to do. We can do a regimen review and get you going and make sure that you're successful in the process.
Awesome, thank you. And is there a website that I can start taking a look at?
So Fred and Anita can direct you in that aspect. So you can reach out to them for that.
Awesome. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. I just have a question. I'm coming off the 21-day detox, and Sunday I will be coming off. And so I just want to know, how do I make the transition off, since everything has been raw and I've just been juicing? I just want to make sure that when I start to reintroduce things based on my blood type, then I'm introducing things in a correct order.
Okay. So I always tell people, when you're coming off that detox, you don't want to do anything too heavy because that can shock your system. But you do want to start your shopping from the blood type food list. You want to make sure that you are combining certain foods in the proper way. So I don't know if you all know this, but eating fruit with other foods is wrong because of the rate at which fruit digests. So you want to make sure that you're eating your fruit by itself. Melons should also be eaten by themselves. So, you know, we've been accustomed to having it in a fruit salad, but you want to make sure that melons, if it's watermelon, you're only eating watermelon. If it's honeydew, you're only eating honeydew. Don't mix your melons, and don't mix melons with other fruit. And then fruit should not be mixed with grains. We all grew up eating oatmeal with fruit, whether it be raisins or blueberries or strawberries or apples, peaches, whatever. But you should actually be eating oatmeal, if you're gonna eat it with something, with vegetables. Who wants oatmeal with broccoli? Anybody? I'm just kidding.
Doesn't sound too good.
Not at all. So, so you wanna make sure that you're combining your foods properly and that you're eating light. So coming off that detox, maybe do a light brothy soup, or a soup base with something like coconut milk. If coconut milk is good for your blood type. And so don't do heavy, don't do anything with meat on your first day coming off the detox. That could possibly hurt you and make you very uncomfortable.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And one other question. Dr. Prince was talking about blood clots because I had suffered from blood clots. He was saying he helps different people like move beyond that. So that could be some, how do I get involved with like trying to get off? Like I take Coumadin right now.
So yes, there are some certain supplements that you can take. I used to work at a health food store, so I'm very well versed in different supplements and how they affect the body. Nattokinase is a digestive enzyme that can help break up blood clots, fibrous tissues, and scar tissue. That type of enzyme is known as a systemic enzyme. So when you take systemic enzymes, you want to take them on an empty stomach, no food. If you take any enzyme with food, it's just going to digest your food. Cayenne pepper is also another very good way to help break up inflammation and clots. So like Dr. Prince, he puts cayenne on everything.
Me
like
too.
Literally everything.
I do too. Okay.
Yep.
All right, fair enough. That's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just did want to step in and say two more things. Tiffany and Anna, you can follow at the end, but Karen, before you go, would you mind telling us how your detox, how well you did? You want to just give a quick 30-second testimony?
Sure. I started on January 1st and I've lost 13 pounds. And I can concur with the other young lady who was talking about blood pressure. My blood pressure has been ranging from 137 to like 149. It's been really high. My numbers have been really elevated prior to me starting the fast. And my blood pressure in the last 2 weeks or 7 days, like 10 days, it stays from the 100 to 112. I haven't seen numbers like that in years. My number has been like really, really high, not high, but lately it's been higher. And this is remarkable.
Yes.
I can say.
Yes. And so, and it just goes to show that it doesn't take much for the body to start to heal.
Yes.
All you have to do is remove the obstacles and feed the cells. That's really, that's it, that's all. Now, I will say this much when it comes to the blood pressure. Once you come off the detox, you may start to notice moments where your blood pressure is elevated. I don't want you to panic. Don't worry. There are some natural supplements that you can take to help with blood pressure so that you don't have to go back on medication. And I'll share those with Fred and Anita so that they can share them with you all.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Hi, should I start talking?
Yes,
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 go
Joan.
Okay, I'm really excited by this. My husband Derek is here with me. We were introduced to this program and, and health program at the GWC also. And we're really excited about it. He has a question and I have a shorter question. We've both been about health and healthy eating for goodness for years and years and years. My one question is, I'm just really puzzled by the technology. What is, when you hold onto this device, what is it reading? Is it the liquids in your body or what is it reading? And then he has a question.
Okay, so I am really, really glad that you asked that question. So your body has approximately 50 trillion cells. And every second of every day, they're dividing. And when they divide, they give off a frequency. That frequency is what that metal wand is reading. And so whatever frequency they're giving off within whatever organ they're in is gonna show us, is gonna show up on that bioscan report. So that's how we're getting that information and knowing what's going on in your heart, what's going on in your liver, in your kidneys, and so on and so forth. So great question, Joan. I'm glad you asked that.
Is there some place I could read up a little bit more? I'm nerdy. Is there some place I could read up a little bit more about the technology?
Absolutely. So the name of the technology is called Quantum Resonance Analyzer, also known as biofeedback technology. So it's reading the feedback that your own biology is giving every time your cells divide. So I will make sure to send that information to Fred and Anita so that they can make sure you have it.
Okay, thank you very much. And then my husband has one question. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening. Hi, how are you doing?
I am well. How are you?
Very well and blessed, feeling blessed to chat with you all. So I looked at, there were two results that I saw that I had a question about. One was under liver function, and it was protein metabolism. It was a little bit lower than the normal range. It was 100.904. The normal range is 116.34 to 226. So I was curious as to what that might mean, and then a cardiovascular question after that.
So basically, metabolism is about how your body is able to break down and process that protein. If your protein metabolism is low, it can mean a few things. One, that your enzymes for breaking down protein are depleted. Two, there is a lack of absorption in the gastric area, in the stomach. The stomach is where we absorb protein. So if there is a lack of absorption due to excess mucus, due to parasites, waste material, those things will cause a problem. And also the liver and the gallbladder work together to release what's called bile that also helps to break down protein. So if there's a lack of bile secretion, that will also affect the protein metabolism.
Okay, well, so I guess maybe good news is the rest of the results under the liver function were all in the normal range. So that's probably pretty good. That's
great.
Okay, all right, so far so good. So then under the cardiovascular, the one question I had there was the vascular resistance was on the high end at 1.908. So I was trying to determine what that means.
So that is indicative of how you are processing stress. Are you under a lot of stress?
Oftentimes, yes, I think so.
Yeah.
So I have my share and perhaps some extra.
Right. And unfortunately, many of us are dealing with the same thing. And so it's going to be very important for you to start becoming more mindful of how you react when stressful situations come up. We need to stop being reactive and start being proactive. I often tell people, if you are in a stressful situation, the situation itself is not important. how you react to the situation. That's what's important. And if it's a situation that you can fix, then just fix it. If it is out of your control, then you have to let that go. And that includes people as well. And I'm not saying just, stop talking to people or disown somebody, but you have to let go of that stressful situation because we can't control grown folks. We can barely control the children. So, when you're dealing with people and the people are creating stressful situations that you can't control, you have to let them be where they are so that it's not affecting your health. You can't take on the stress of other people's issues and situations and things. And even when they're doing things that directly affect you, you cannot allow it to affect you.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, that's good. So, is this is coronary artery elasticity have to do with plaque buildup within the arteries, along with the stroke volume? Those two go together, stroke volume and coronary artery elasticity.
Stroke volume has to do with the strength of the heart. As Michael was explaining earlier, when you see the word stroke, that simply means contraction of the heart. And volume is talking about the amount of blood in your heart chambers at the time the heart contracts. So that doesn't have a lot to do with the coronary artery elasticity. Coronary artery elasticity has to do with the plaque buildup in those coronary arteries, which of course we know now that comes from animal consumption and that animal fat.
So if you're an athlete or very athletic, does the stroke volume, is that impacted by does that impact on the stroke volume?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I run and I swim, and my number is on the lower end.
Yeah. So we just got to work on the stress and the diet to help clear up the plaque and to help strengthen the heart. Stress it puts a bad stress, I'll say, puts a burden on the heart and it weakens the heart muscle. So that's another reason why it's going to be important to better manage the stress. The workouts that you're doing, the swimming, those things stress the heart, but it's a good stress, and that stress strengthens the heart.
Okay. Well, thank you for the information. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
My
and
pleasure.
Thank you. Really, this is very powerful analysis. Thanks again.
You are welcome. Okay, who do we have next? I think Nicole.
Yes, hello everyone. I got my scan at GWC on Sunday, and so I been reviewing all the results, and I did have a few questions on like some of the recommendations, since we're talking about being vegan or not eating meat. But on the list, some of the recommendations had meat on there, so I didn't know if it was something that had to be updated.
So when you say recommendations, are you talking about the blood type food list?
Well, just on my scan, my bioscan list, some of the recommendations to help improve certain areas had meat on there.
Okay, so as Michael explained earlier, that information that you see in the little box off to the side, yeah, don't give a lot of weight to that. That does not really pertain to us. That's some information that eventually we do need to update. So yeah, don't give a lot of weight to that.
Okay. Okay.
Are you dealing with any specific health conditions?
Yes. The cardio, the first page that we went over, I'm dealing with, let me go to my first page on the report. So my main areas, I have like the cholesterol crystal. My vascular resistance is like in the red. That's like the highest problem area.
Okay.
There's a little bit for the myocardial blood perfusion. That's like in blue. My stroke volume is low. That's in the yellow. The left ventricular effect, yes, that one's in the blue.
Okay.
And then I have the coronary, that's in the yellow.
Okay.
So I do carry a lot of stress, that I do know. And trying to balance and eliminate the things that are causing stress, as well as people, because it's things and people. It's a combination of both. It's kind of challenging, I guess, to do, but it's something that is a must. But I do suffer with a lot of pressure in my chest area. I've been to the hospital more than once. They don't see nothing wrong, but I know I feel something wrong.
Yes. So Nicole, I understand that all too well. I went through the exact same thing, feeling pressure in my chest. Sometimes I would have sharp shooting pains. And yes, I went to the doctor several times. I even went to the emergency room one day, just, I was being overly dramatic because I wanted them to see to me and see what was going on. And every time they said, there's nothing wrong with your heart. And it's because their equipment is calibrated at trauma level. You're not near a crisis where they can have a reason to give you medication or perform a procedure, a surgical procedure. So they're going to continue to tell you, you're fine. Go home, be with your family, eat what you want. And you do that because what you're doing is you're patiently waiting on the crisis. So now it's time to start flushing and cleansing your system, getting rid of the plaque buildup, reducing your stress. Detoxing will also assist you in reducing your stress, because once you start detoxing, is going to clear up something inside of you on an emotional level, where things that are currently making you stress out now they're not going to affect you like that. They're going to come and you're going to be like, oh, okay, and you're just going to breathe and keep it moving. So the main thing, Nicole, for you is to start managing that stress. With your vascular resistance being in the red, you're putting a lot of burden on your heart. So I want you to consider meditation, yoga, breathing exercises, and just working out in general. When you work out, you release those happy hormones and they help you to eliminate your stress. And if you can do something that you truly enjoy doing on a daily basis, whether it be dancing or singing or helping someone, working at the church or volunteering somewhere, whatever makes you happy in your heart, that's also going to help to strengthen your heart.
Okay. And then I saw in the lung function area, my vital capacity, VC, is in the red to the left. Based on what I'm reading, it talks about the chronic bronchitis or obstruction or lack of lung. So throughout my childhood, I've been diagnosed to have bronchitis or asthma, depending on which doctor that I'm seeing. I mean, as of now, I'm way better at it because I don't even take medication for it, because I kind of learned to manage it myself. But it used to be very serious. And so I thought it was connected to pollen, but it looks like on my results, it's showing that I don't really have a pollen allergy. But that's normally when I get sick, when the pollen count is high.
Okay. So I'm noticing that Dr. Prince is on the line. I'm gonna let him take that one.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Greetings.
Greetings. So I just wanted to say that you guys did a great, Sharon and Mike are exceptional when it comes to explaining this information to you guys. They're fresh in it within the past few years, but they have learned a lot just from being under me and my teachings, and everything that they're telling you is right on point. In fact, I felt like just a listener, which is very rare because I'm usually the speaker, but at this point I was feeling like a listener, and I heard myself in Sharon, and I hear myself in Mike, and I believe that that's where we all should be. We should be masters of this process, not always helping, not always asking for help, but being the ones that are doing the help. And so with your situation, when it talks about vital capacity, you have to understand that your lungs is an elimination channel. So that's one of the reasons why SARS, what is SARS? Sudden acute respiratory syndrome. Most of our conditions, even the pandemic, was associated with your lungs. And there's a lot of pathogens that affect the lungs. Heck, I grew up with asthma. And so one of the issues I had was a hyperinflated chest. You know what a hyperinflated chest is? That's when you inhale, but you have problems exhaling. So your chest becomes hyperinflated because you're having problems getting the air out, not getting the air in. I mean, imagine how that feels. There's one thing trying to get the air in, but there's another thing trying to get the air out. And so what happens is that tends to damage the lung tissue. It either causes it to become damaged at the alveoli, which is the air sacs. And you got to understand, those are little small air sacs in your lungs. Your lungs is like an upside down tree. Look at a tree, look at the trunk that goes down into the ground. That trunk represents your trachea. And then the branches represent your bronchioles, and it goes all the way out, just like a tree. And so when those air sacs get filled with fluid, and that's why a lot of times when we're coughing of mucus, coughing up phlegm, that's that mucus that is actually responding to pathogens that you may be inhaling from the air. And that tends to damage the lungs, and that tends to cause your vital capacity to decrease, or it may cause your vital capacity to increase. But what's happening is that ultimately, it doesn't matter whether it's increasing or decreasing. When you detox, you're not only clearing out the tissue and the cells, but you're also flushing your lungs. It's one of the reasons why, as an athlete, I'm able to run 5Ks pretty well. I'm able to run quarter miles. I'm able to run well because when I detox, it clears my lungs out. It increases my vital capacity back to normal range, so that when I inhale, when I take in that oxygen, the oxygen is not impeded by any fluids. It's allowed to go into my capillaries, from my capillaries into the pulmonary vein, from the pulmonary vein into the left atrium, the left atrium into the left ventricle, from the left ventricle out to the body to dispense that oxygen to every tissue that needs oxygen to breathe and to function. So that's kind of the idea of how the blood flows. And that flows in all of our bodies the same way, which is why we all have the same direction of blood. We all have the same color of blood. We have the same lungs. Some of our lungs may be damaged. Some of us may have healthy lungs, but it doesn't matter because my mother, she smoked for years when she had me in her 20s. And when she stopped smoking, she healed her lungs. So you can heal your lungs even after smoking cigarettes, but the cigarettes are going to damage it for a while. But if you stop smoking and you start detoxing and start cleaning your lungs out, cleaning your body out, it's going to heal those alveoli sacs. And that's going to expand your capacity to normal, so that if you decide you want to go running, you want to go swimming, you want to play tennis, whatever the case, you will have the lungs, you will have the endurance, you will have the stamina in order to do it. Even sex. You know, some guys don't have the stamina to endure even during sex because they have a decreased lung capacity. And then they have an enlarged prostate. So we're losing all of our ability when it comes to toxicity. You know, if it's dumping it in your prostate, it's messing with the libido. But if you don't even have the lungs to endure past 10 minutes, then yeah, that's going to make for a bad relationship. So detoxification does the body good. It puts you back in good health, gives you back your lungs, gives you back your oxygen capacity. Now, when your lungs are back in place, guess what? Now your heart is meeting the 1 minute demand. Now it's meeting that deadline. So now the myocardial oxygen demand is starting to decrease. You see how that goes? If you got an increase in your demand, your heart is working harder. Well, why is it working harder? Maybe because you have fluid in your lungs. See, it's not just the meat, the dairy, the cooked food. It's not just the stress, but it could be the fact that you have this fluid in your lungs and the oxygen is just not getting to your tissue. Yeah, that means that the heart is working harder because it has a little oxygen to try to get to all 50 trillion of your cells. You see, you have 50 trillion employees that are working to keep you alive. If you don't satisfy those employees with what they need, they're going to strike. And if they strike in the prostate, there go to libido. If they strike in the uterus, well, there go to fibroids. If they strike in the liver, well, there's heart disease. If they strike in your pancreas, diabetes. Every cell in your body, no matter what the cell is, every cell in your body, besides red blood cells, every cell in your body actually has enzymes that they need. And every cell in your body is a mini you. You have organs, right? Guess what your cell has? Your cell has organelles. You breathe. Your cells breathe. You excrete waste. Yep, guess what? Your cells also excrete waste. Now, you have to understand how important this is, because if every one of your cells is doing what you're doing on a microscopic level, then if your gastrointestinal tract is clogged up, constipated, blocked because of all the meat, the chicken, the beef, the pork that you've been eating all your life because you thought, one, it was manly to eat meat. Two, you thought that it was the right thing and the best way to get your protein. And three, you thought that meat was something you really loved doing. But the truth is, you don't love it. You're conditioned to it. And I know that now because my 9 years young son is a vegan. I never gave him meat. He doesn't miss meat. If you sat him in a room with a chicken fry and a fish fry going on at the same time, and he hasn't eaten all day, he will not eat any of that food. Because if you train a child in the way he should go, he shall not depart. But here's the problem, you guys. We have been trained in a way that we shouldn't have went. And now we're having problems departing. Even though there are negative consequences to what we're doing, we are still having a problem departing from it. You know what that's called? Addiction. We have the worst addiction on the planet, which is animal protein. It's killing us. And if you guys are, excuse me, if you're looking at your kidney report, everybody look at that kidney report. If you're looking at your kidney report, if any of your items are to the right, whether it be blue, yellow, red, if any of them is to the right of the green, that means that your kidneys are no longer filtering properly. That means that you're moving towards dialysis. That means that you're going to be sitting at least 3 times a week at a center for 4 hours, letting the machine clean your blood. Is that the life you want? Is that the life that you will not be willing to give up meat in order to avoid? I'm saying this because I love you. I want to see everyone be well. I'm not trying to restrict you at all. I'm trying to protect you. Everything we're doing is for protection, not restriction. I was a devout meat eater. I loved chitlins. Yep. I know some people be like, some meat eaters judge me because I love chitlins. How can you judge me for eating chitlins when all of the animals are bad for our health? No matter if it's chitlins or hog maw or mount oysters, which is cow testicles. All the body did. You know, my grandmother had me eating pigtails, pig ears, cow tongue. We thought that was normal because we didn't have a frame of reference. And if we didn't have a frame of reference, heck, we thought we loved it. I used to tear that cow tongue up. I used to have double pork chop sandwiches with cheese from Maxwell Street in Chicago after every party. I thought that was the thing to do. Only the what did you say, Nita?
I said, oh my.
You see, I'm telling you, we were once all the problem in the world. Now you can become the solution. See, we look at the world and we judge the world and we are dissatisfied with the world, but yet we are a part of the atrocities of the world. So what do they say? If you want to see change in the world, don't ask the politicians or the presidents. Don't ask the people around you. No, you have to become the change that you want to see. So when I became vegan, I became a part of the answer. I was no longer the problem. And so, yes, I grew up eating meat, but then once I changed my lifestyle, once I changed my diet, my level of consciousness, the frequency of my body began to elevate. I began to ascend, and I could no longer continue to dwell in those groups. Even my family, I had to become alienated from my family. I wasn't invited to the cookouts. I wasn't invited to the Thanksgiving celebrations, and I wasn't. And yeah, it felt bad at first, but guess what? I had to go prepare a place. And where I had to go, they couldn't go with me at that time. But when I returned, I prepared a place that I can take people to now. So I had to allow that alienation. I had to overcome the feeling of loneliness until I did what God wanted me to do, which is to make this possible for all of you guys. It was lonely for a while, but when I realized that God needed me to do this, even to save my mother, if it wasn't for this process, my mother would not be with me. She would have been gone years ago because no one in our immediate family has made it past 79 years of age. Just as of last year, she broke the bloodline curse and she turned 80. How far can she go from that? Well, as long as I'm detoxing her, she'll go past 120. Because when you start doing this process, when you start cleansing and detoxing, all of this stuff we're talking about will be history. You won't be hearing about people with heart disease. You won't be hearing about people with cancer. You won't be hearing about this stuff because you will now have a predominantly holistic healthcare system functioning throughout the whole country in every city, every state by people of color. That's the key. It has to be, you know why? Because that's the protocol. This is the protocol of scripture, this prophecy. So it's not just a fad, it's not just a status quo, it's a prophecy being fulfilled by the Bible. We are called to return back to our throne and to correct the atrocities of this world. So each one of us has the responsibility not to help others, but to help yourself. Save thyself and watch how you save people all around you. So to answer your question with the lung, go ahead.
Dr. Prince, I just want to, I hate interrupting you because you know you're going and we love what you have to say, but I know I had 3 more questions, one from Melanie, one from Makisha, one from Anna. But before we get to that, I just want to make sure if anyone has any other individual questions that you contact the person who invited you to this particular call. We believe in sharing and spreading the information. So some of you are members of the B1 family, the All Black National Convention. Some of you are GWC, the Generational Wealth Conference. Some of you are Chaz Joy's Fitness. And some of you have been invited by Keith and Tanya Patillo, or Sheila Shepherd, or Sheila Medina, or Greg. So if you have been invited by someone and you have some questions that you can't get answered just yet, or if you want to contact the individual person who invited you to this call. And so now we're going to get Melanie, Makisha, and Anna's questions answered. And then Dr. Prince, you can take back over because I know you like to go.
Oh, no, I'm gonna let Sharon take over. I just want to answer her question concerning her loss. Go ahead, Sharon.
Okay. Hey, Melanie.
Hey, good evening. I was with the GWC, and my only question is, my husband, I did body detox for myself and my husband, and I need to know where he needs to go in Houston to get the body scan. And then the second question I had was, well, I guess I had two questions. The second question I had is there some preparation that I need to do prior to starting the detox?
So absolutely, there's definitely preparation. So once you receive your package, there's going to be a daily routine and juice recipes for you to follow. So my suggestion is to get with whomever invited you, or talk with Fred and Anita, and they can get you set up so that we can do a regimen review so that you'll know exactly what you need to do to get started, how to prepare, what you need to purchase, and all of that. And Fred and Anita can also direct you to where you need to go to get your husband a scan.
Hey, Melanie. Melanie, this is Keith. Hey, listen, I've been waiting for you to speak up. Look, based on that question you asked Tanya at the convention, you need to look up for our King of the Jungle product.
Look up what now?
Our King of the Jungle product. That's
It's an inside joke.
You know what I'm talking about. but where you located one more time?
Houston.
Houston. Okay, I just sent you a private message. Tanya will be in Houston in September, so she can conduct a scan there. But meanwhile, we're going to try to find you somebody in Houston that might be able to get your husband done prior to September. Okay?
Yeah, that'd be great, because I don't think he wants to wait till September to do the detox.
I know that's right. I know that's right. So we're going to get on that right away.
All right, appreciate it.
All right.
So Sharon,
and the other thing, real quick, the other thing too, Melanie, is the product that Keith is suggesting is going to work a whole lot better once you detox. I'm just putting that out there. Okay.
And Sharon, I want you
Yes.
to also address, there's been several questions. Do you have to have your scan before starting your detox?
You don't have to have a scan before starting the detox. However, having the scan allows you to see what's happening in your body and set goals and intentions for your health. If you don't know what's going on in the body, sometimes it can be a little more difficult to really focus your attention on certain areas of the body that may need more attention. So it is important to have the scan. It's not mandatory to have the scan.
Okay, because I just didn't want people to feel like they needed to wait to have the scan before they start the detox. You know, if they have the detox, do the detox. And then the other question is, how soon after you do a detox should you do another scan?
So you want to wait at approximately 4 to 6 months before you scan again, because you need to allow your body time to reap the benefits of that 3-week detox. So of course, you know, some things you're gonna see changes right away. Like Deborah and Karen, they saw real great benefits quickly with their blood pressure, but some things take a bit longer. For example, I had a severe fatty liver when I started. And once I I changed my diet and started going through the detox process, it took me 2 years to get back into normal range. But I had to stay consistent with detoxing. I had to stay consistent with my diet and exercising. All of those go hand in hand. Exercise is not an option, it is mandatory. So yeah, you want to make sure that oh, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Okay, we can move on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, it's late. We understand.
Okay, Makisha and Anna, I want you to get your questions in real quick because I don't want to lose anybody, but I also want to let you guys know that in the email we sent about this Zoom, there's another Zoom on Saturday. So I hope you all kept your before and after pictures and the amount of weight you lost. There's going to be some incentive programs. So I don't want to focus on that right now, but I just want you all to be aware that there is another Zoom on Saturday that deals with those of you who have completed the scan and those of you who are, I'm sorry, completed the detox, and those of you, so since Fred just put it up, I'm gonna have you guys get your phones out, take a picture real quick, because there's your Zoom ID. Where's the password? Can you show the password as well, Fred? It's Saturday, January 21st, this Saturday. There's the Zoom ID 854-9973-3603. And I think the passcode is New Me 2023.
Yes, that's
NEWME 2023. So everybody take a picture of that real quick, because that's the passcode. It says topic brand new me in 2023, but that's also the passcode. NEWME 2023. And then the Zoom ID is right there. So I just wanted to share that, because I know some of you all on the East Coast, and I'm going to lose some people because I know it's getting late, but I want to share that. I want you guys to get on that Zoom call. And then Melanie, Makisha, and Anna, if you can get your questions in real quick.
Okay, it's Makisha from GWC. I just want to know if there's something that can reverse the sciatica if you have it really bad, like can't hardly walk. Is there something to help with that?
Yes. So initially, you want to start with detoxing because you need to reduce the inflammation. So once you start reducing that inflammation, that alone is going to start helping with the pain. The next thing you want to start doing is body work. You got to start stretching. The reason that you're having that sciatic pain is because there's a muscle back there in the gluteus. I forget what they call that muscle. But that muscle tends to become really, really tight over time. And it starts to pull on the nerves that it's connected to. And it does cause very severe pain depending on how deep it is. So I would say go to YouTube and look up yoga for sciatic pain. And it's going to give you a number of different yoga programs, exercises, different things that you can do. But I'm going to describe something right now that you can start doing. So you just sit in a chair, and whichever side your sciatic pain is on, take that leg and bring your ankle to the other knee. That alone is going to give you a stretch. If you can lean forward in that stretch, that's going to help start stretching out that sciatic muscle. In addition to that, you also want to make sure that your sleeping is not compromised. So you want to make sure that the bed that you're sleeping in doesn't have too many dents in it, that it's conforming to your body, and your body's not conforming to it, because that too can worsen the sciatic pain.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and we have one other person, I think Anna.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
I hear you, yes.
Okay, yes, hello everyone, and thank you for this presentation. My niece, Nicole, she introduced me to this. She had a scan done in Georgia, in Atlanta. And so she invited me onto the call. So I'm just learning about everything. And it sounds like, it sounds so awesome. It sounds like a answer to my prayers. So I have, I'm just gonna just quickly try to get through this, you know, this question. I was born with a condition. I was born with flat feet and very tight tendons and deformed feet. And the feet wasn't noticeably deformed until I put on shoes, but I noticed that nobody else said anything. I always had problems when I stood up for hours. I would be limping the next day. And I could run very fast, but I couldn't walk as fast. So I always had to skip up to keep up with everybody. So always been with orthopedic doctors, always with ortho support shoes, and the condition progressed over time. So in 2005, I started experiencing a lot of knee pain in the left knee. Thought it was my knee, but then 2008, you know, I used to be industrial worker. I used to be a shipbuilder and refinery, so I climbed ships and things like that. So at 2008, my ankle slowly started breaking off. It was almost completely broken off, and I had to have a surgery by 2009. And both feet have issues. They developed neuropathy, and my tendons shred, so they wouldn't, you know, support anymore. So I have a lot of pain. You know, the left foot, they realigned the foot, but you know, it helped a lot. But I'm starting to develop a lot of pain in the knee, and in the right foot, I have a lot of pain in the arch and the tendon, the tibial, the Achilles tendon, the knee, and the hip. So it's like I am always in pain. So right now they're ready to do surgery on both feet. On the left foot is one, they did a tendon transfer, if you're familiar with that. My condition is posterior tibial tendon dysfunction. And when I went had an x-ray done the other day, there's like a bone in the left foot is suppressed. And they want to do what they call a fusion. They want to fuse the, remove the cartilage and fuse the bones together. And say, of course, I won't feel pain. Of course, that sounds wonderful not to feel pain, but I want an alternative. I can't jump, I can't run, I can't do a lot of things that I used to do. So I have a lot of pain at night when I sleep on my right side, my hip, my knee. So I'm just wanting to see what possibly, you know, this could do to change my life, because my I have become mobility impaired, and I can't do half of the things I used to do. And it affects me mentally when the pain is so excruciating.
Yes. Yeah, so it sounds like you two have a little bit of sciatic pain going on. So I would suggest the same thing to you as far as the body work and stretching. I would also suggest, excuse me, I would also suggest that you see a chiropractor and or a napropath. So a napropath is someone who works with the body and manipulates the body to bring things back into alignment. So it's not just your feet that have been out of alignment.
No.
And a napropath can help you get those things back in alignment. Some napropaths can also do other excuse me, other body work that will help with your muscles as well and help to release those muscles, because you because of what's going on with your feet, it made you walk a certain way. It made you put pressure on certain muscles and certain bones in a particular way. That's now, you know, now you're experiencing the pain and discomfort because of all the disalignment.
Right. And yes, it's definitely this time. But one thing I did, because not being able to exercise as before, you know, running all those things, you know, my body's become very, very soft. And I have now like a lot of hanging tissue and skin, and it's heavy. So is that, so what would be suggested for that? Right now, I can't do high impact exercises,
Mhm.
but I have a lot of hanging,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah,
heavy.
so you shouldn't do anything heavy right now. I would say again, go to YouTube and look up yoga for sciatic pain, yoga for realignment of the spine, realignment of the hips, realignment of the feet and ankles. There is a yoga pose for everything.
Okay.
There's yoga poses to help with digestion and to help
Okay.
you move your bowels. So there's a lot that you can do when it comes to yoga.
Okay. I'm glad
Can
you
I
said that
interject?
about digestion, because
Yes, sir.
digestion is real bad.
Well, let me interject here.
Okay.
And this is extremely important for everyone. I discovered something over time as well. This is gonna sound very interesting to you guys. I discovered that I turn to the left far more than I turn to the right. I turn to my left far more than I turn to my right. Now, how did I find it out? Because I was having certain issues in my knee, and I didn't know why, because I was doing yoga, I was doing all this other stuff. But then I realized one day that every time I turned to the left, I would feel my knee, and I had to begin to consciously start turning to my right. Now, you got to understand how weird it's going to feel to start doing something consciously that you've been doing unconsciously pretty much all your life. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that your bone, your skeletal system is organic, which means that it's always shaping and molding. It's always regenerating. Cells are always dying and new cells are always replacing. Every 10 years, you get a brand new skeletal system. Every 10 years, you get a brand new skeletal system. So that's how long it takes your skeletal system to turn over, to fully regenerate. That means all new cells in all 206 of the bones in your body. 206. It's either 203, 206, but it's around there. That's how many bones you have in your body. And every 10 years, those bones fully regenerate, which means 10 years ago, you had a whole different skeletal system. And if you haven't done anything different over the past 10 years, then you're wearing on the same skeletal system day in and day out. And now it's unconscious. I was unconsciously doing this. So when I turned to the left, I didn't realize I was doing that, because sometimes when I'm in track practice, anytime I finish with a race or finish with a repetition, maybe a 200 or a 300 meter run, I'll walk, and sometimes I'll have to turn around depending on how much distance I have to walk. I didn't realize I would turn more to my left than I did to my right. And the more times I do that, the more I wore on that part of my ligament in my legs and my knees, and it started to cause problems when I walk. How did I fix it? First, I became aware that was the pattern. Then I had to wake up and become conscious of something that was unconscious. And then once I became conscious of it, I now had to start turning to the right consciously more often. I would do that all the time. In fact, I would have to catch myself, because sometimes I'll want to just naturally turn to my left. But when I realized, wait a minute, I can't do that. Now, the weird part about it is that there are some times when you have to turn to your left because it's normal. So you would see me turn to my right when I should be turning to my left. So I would actually take a whole full 360-degree turn to my right in order to do something that would have only taken me 6 seconds or 1 second to turn to my left. What am I saying is that you have to become conscious of that which is unconscious and start to change some of your ways, change some of your patterns in order to affect your bone, your muscles, your tissue, your ligaments different. And not only that, but even in your mindset, you have to change the way you do things. Instead of brushing your teeth with your right hand every morning at the top, then go to the bottom, then to the back, then come to the front, start doing it with your left hand. Now you're working on the other arm. And when you do that, you're creating neural connections in your brain that's going to help you to develop a new habit. And it's not going to wear on that arm. That's why sometimes your right side is weaker than your left side. And so that's why it's important to understand how important it is to become now at our age. Once you pass 40, you're habitually hardwired as the person you are, which means not only your actions, not only your patterns, but the stress that you have is a habitual reaction. That means that who you are as a person is connected to the stress that you have. So if you want to change the stress in your body, then you have to become a new person. Is that easy? No, that's not easy, because now you have to become conscious of that which is unconscious. And then you have to start to consciously change those subconscious programs. And that's not easy because we don't like change. We like to take the path of least resistance. Basically, most of us are moving around after 30, 35, we're moving around unconsciously. We're asleep. We're doing things habitually. And when you do that, your body is wearing down because it's doing the same thing over and over again. You're having the same behaviors over and over again. You're waking up on the same side of the bed, sleeping on the same side of the bed, putting your shoes on the same way, putting your underwear on the same way, brushing your teeth the same way, washing your body in the shower the same way.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I totally agree with you with that. Because I thought it was just because I was right-handed is why I did everything to the right. Because even my brain, it pulls to the right. Everything I set up, if I'm doing something like assembly, you know, if it's printing and with paper set up, whatever, everything has to start to the left and move to the right for me. So I totally agree with you. Everything leans to the right, even like I say mentally. But I just thought because I was taught, you know, left-handed, right-handed people, you know, that's the dominant side, and that was normal. So I do agree with you with that, because everything for me has to, it has to start from the left going toward the right. It's so awkward going the opposite way. So I agree with you with that.
And check this out. When I went to Israel back in 2004, guess what I learned how to do? I learned how to read from the right to the left. How weird do you think that was?
Very weird.
Because see, in Hebrew, in the Hebrew Bible, the Tanakh, they don't read from the left to the right. They read from the right to the left.
Right.
And so when I learned how to read Hebrew, when I learned how to pray in Hebrew, when I learned how to study Hebrew, I had to read from the right to the left. And that's how the words go. Now, the difference is, yeah, when you start doing that, the circuitry in your brain is gonna change. You know what they call that? They call that neuroplasticity. That means that you can change your brain. Now, this is wonderful because if whatever's going on in your body right now, whatever's going on in your life right now, if you want to change it, all you have to do is start to consciously begin to do things different. It's not going to be comfortable. It's not supposed to. But guess what? If you practice it over and over, let me tell you what's going to happen. It's going to start becoming comfortable.
Yes.
And you know what you're going to learn? You're going to learn that there is no rule to what's normal. What's normal is what you make normal. If you want to become a left-handed person, all you have to do is start practicing stuff on your left hand. That's your choice. You have the free will to do that. We've been listening to society, to our mothers, to our fathers, our aunts, our uncles, and that's why we're eating meat, because we think it's normal. But the truth is, it's killing us because we have been listening to them. So we haven't been thinking for ourselves. You now have the power and the ability now to start becoming conscious. And this is a good time to do it because they say after 30, this is the crazy part. They say after 30 years of age, we don't have any new experiences. You're not having any new experiences. It may seem like that, but it's just different characters playing out the same script. That's why a lot of times women tend to go in and out of relationships, but all they're doing is repeating the past relationship with a different person.
Right.
If you're a person that gets angry and you react at a particular situation, just a particular situation that you have reacted to in the past, then you're gonna find a new person, create a new situation to affirm a past anger behavior. You're gonna do that. They're not doing that. So it looks like somebody is doing something to you. It looks like you're the victim, but you're not the victim. You're the author and the director of your own play. You are the one handing out the script. And if you are the one that's handing out the script, which I can attest to that, then guess what? You have the power to rewrite your own script. This is why it's important, you guys, to listen to the book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Somebody put that in the chat, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. You gotta listen to this book, because until you do, you have no control over your life. Full control. That means that everyone around you who has been controlling your biology all your life will continue to control your biology. This is why we are reactionary. When you start to proact, as Sharon said, you begin to choose your response. That's the beginning of control. That's when you now have your health back in your own hands, and nobody can push your buttons unless you allow them to. This is what Jesus conveyed to Pontius Pilate. He told him, Pilate came to him and said, hey, don't you know I have the power to save you? He said, no, you don't. The only power you have is the power given to you from above. Know not that I have the power to lay down my life and pick my life back up. What's happening to me right now is because I choose to allow it to happen to fulfill the will of God. Pilate didn't have no power. He knew he had to be crucified. He told Pilate, he looked at him in his eyes, he said, know ye not that I can call upon 12 legions of angels to fight for me right now and destroy and flatten this whole land? He could have done that, but that was not God's will. So what happened to Jesus was nobody did that to him. He knew that he had to allow that to happen to himself. And that's the message he wanted to get through. Nobody can do anything to you unless you allow it to happen. So start to change your habits, change your behavior, change your patterns, change your exercises, and watch how your bones, your muscles, your mind, and even your life conform to who you want to be, not to who people need you out to. If I had gone the way that people wanted me to go, I would have been a chemical engineer. I went to University of Illinois in chemical engineering, and that's because all the counselors, the teachers, my mom, everybody thought it was a great profession. Oh, you're gonna do well. You're going into chemical engineering. You know, if I had stayed in that, I would have been making the best drugs for you right now. I would have been the one creating the pharmaceutical drugs that's killing our people. God woke me up and said, no, that's not your will, and that's not even my will. That's man's will. Let me wake you up and let me show you my will. I left that profession, left college, became into emergency medicine. He pulled me out of that and he put me into holistic health. Now I'm where I'm supposed to be, but now I'm in control of my life. Nobody can make me angry. Not if you cut me off in traffic. It can't. I choose to respond based upon my body and my biology, not because you did something to me. So that's how you manage your stress. You guys are not responding properly. You're reacting, which means you are predictable. Stop being predictable and your stress will subside immensely. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
One other quick question I had written in the chat. Whilst the plaque is dissolving with the detox, is it possible that pieces of plaque can break off and enter the heart? And I'm asking this question because years ago I had a CT scan read wrongly, incorrectly, and the doctor said that the plaque can break off and go into my heart. So is this something that can happen with the detox?
Well, let me say this. If you have plaque anywhere in your body, it can break off and become an embolism. An embolism is a piece of plaque that floats from one place to another and become lodged in a vessel that may be smaller than the size of the buildup. So to answer the question, wherever there's plaque in your body, it can break off and become an embolism. But I've been detoxing people. Has it ever happened? No. And you know why? Because once you start cleansing, once you start detoxing, the natural stuff will dissolve the plaque right where it stands. Medication is not dissolving the plaque. It's manipulating the plaque, which means the plaque may break off and float and travel somewhere else. But when you go holistic, I have been reversing heart disease since 2010. That's over 11 years now. And I haven't had one person have plaque break off in their heart, travel to their brain, and cause a stroke. Haven't had it happen.
Okay,
So,
thank you so much.
So
Mhm.
the safest thing to do is to detox the body in order to dissolve the plaque.
Okay. Okay, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.